Hello everyone. So welcome to the webinar on robotic process automation, the next big thing in digital transformation. I know you people are excited, but let me introduce ourselves. So we are Striley Solutions, an enterprise organization with 12 plus years of experience in collaboration with ISO standards. And we have already offices in various geographic locations like USA, Canada, and India. Our global affiliations include Microsoft, SAP, Oracle, and we are also having partners such as Automation Anywhere, Security Weaver. So let me introduce myself. I am Rakesh Chawla. I have 10 plus years of experience in robotic process automation field, and I have worked on various RPA tools such as UiPath, Automation Anywhere. And apart from the bot development, I am also providing the solutions and architecting, troubleshooting the customer problems and helping them with the bot executions. So without wasting much of the time, let's look at the agenda for today. So we are going to discuss, first of all, RPA as a strategy. Next, we would be looking at the business process challenges that are solved by robotic process automation. We would be also seeing the process in a nutshell. What are the real life use cases using robotic process automation and the various services and functions that are being covered by RPA. So gone are the days where RPA was used to automate only the back office jobs or the data entry jobs. If we look at the projected estimation of 2027 year, so we can see there is a significant rise in the market of robotic process automation in software as well as in services. So we can see a rise of 40.6%, which is projected approximately till 2027. That is a big number, isn't it? Yes, you are right. Okay, now let's look at the RPA as a strategy for organizations. Now what and how RPA can be a good strategy. Now let's start with a picture of an organization or a company who are actually starting with a proper planning of implementing the whole project, are already moving towards the success. RPA is a great technology, but you need to know how you can build it and how should we use it. There is a difference between them. Again, we have to make RPA a tool that would not only support your business and solve your business problems, but it should also support your development and growth of the organization. So we have to identify the right RPA tools and technologies. In an organization, we need to ask ourselves few of the questions. We need to introspect on the processes within the organization. Does RPA solve my business problem? Is RPA helping me every day? Once these questions are answered, then you are moving into the right direction. Next, let us look at the processes. Which processes should you select for automation? Consider there are two processes. In one process, there are two members who are working in a team for every day, and they are investing almost 2 hours. So total 4 hours are being invested by a company in that process. Second process is the one in which there is an entire team of 10 persons who are continuously working for 10 hours every day. What do you think? Which is the best process that we should go for automation? Yes, you're right. Certainly, we should go for the second one because that is the right candidate who is eligible for automation. We should always select the processes which are consuming a lot of hours in our organization and are eating up the productivity of the people. Next is the technology. Once you decide the technology and the tools, then you also have to evaluate the infrastructure. You might invest a lot of money in purchasing the tools, but what about the infrastructure? There should be a collaboration done with the IT people also. Next is the automation roadmap. Many organizations and companies invest a lot of time in POCs. They will invest almost 3 months, 6 months, and they would be still doing a POC process, whether this process is good for automation or not. We have to actually move and convert all those POCs into the actual RPA process automation. Then only the productivity, then only the ROI would come into the picture. Now, who are the RPA execution contributors? there are four key members in this. One is the employees, another is the HRs, then there are managers, then there are new competencies. So let's look at them one by one. So first is the employees. So these employees are the ones who are actually welcoming the change. They are the ones who actually are looking towards the change into the organization. They want to improve on the process. They want to improve on their productivity. So we should target such people for automation. We should help them with the process automation, and we can start with them actually. Now these are the direct ones who are actually working in our organization. Now there might be also indirect ones. What I mean by that is some people might be working in a different organization, but they might share you a small concept or a kind of how they have explored RPA in their own organization. So you should welcome such ideas. Another is the HR. HR are the strategic persons who are providing the directions. They should actually know and they should value the RPA, because RPA is actually helping their people in the organization itself. They should increase and welcome the change management. Next is the managers. We cannot forget them. Managers play a vital role in the success of the organization. They are the one who are enabling the change within the organization. So managers play a vital role in this team. Another ones are the new competencies. Let's say if you hire some of the persons who are not well versed with the RPA technology, then it is your organization's or the company's responsibility that we have to educate them and provide them the necessary training so that they actually give the proper output. Now let's look at the various business process challenges that an organization or a company faces. Let's start from the first one. The very basic one is the complexity. There is so much of complexity involved in the processes that generally people don't understand and remember what are the steps that are involved in all the processes. That actually leads to a failure of the process within the organization. Next is the inaccuracy, or you might also say lack of resources. Sometimes people go on a sick leave, or sometimes they go on a vacation. So how will you deal with such challenges? Again, timeline is a basic problem. We have to make sure that the relationship with our customers or clients is not getting impacted, and we have to deliver the products, the services on time, so that revenue is also not getting affected, right? Okay. Now let's see how RPA is actually solving this business process challenges. RPA is actually providing accurate solutions because it is accurate. Until and unless a skilled RPA developer has not made any mistake, the bot won't do any incorrect things. Next is scalable. Let's consider one of the department in which you have implemented RPA. Okay, now from the lessons learned within that department, you can actually scale and you can increase the RPA to the next level. You can implement RPA into the next department in the other teams as well. RPA saves our time. It is agility. Its agility is also there, and it is a one-time investment. You just have to invest once for purchasing the products until and unless renewal is not required. Next is it is reliable also. You can trust those bots because those bots don't make any mistakes. Again, the productivity is also increased because bots are running 24/7, 365 days. They don't need holidays. Now let's look at the process in a nutshell. How an organization or a company can sit with the RPA developers or the RPA team, and they can help the process. They can invest their time in identifying the right pilot projects first. We have to identify the projects which are actually consuming a lot of time. We would be setting up the infrastructure. There would be requirement analysis, requirement gathering phase would be going on, and then we have to start the development. So whenever the development of the bot is started, then the testing of the bot is also required. It is very much necessary that the company or the organization performs a proper testing on the bot so that the bot runs properly in the positive as well as negative scenarios in the real life. Next is that whenever a client is giving a feedback and we need to enhance the bot, so it is the responsibility of an organization or a company that they have to enhance the bot in that direction. So a constructive feedback is also incorporated. At the end, the bot is delivered to the company, and a proper training and a proper KT is also given to the company to make sure that the RPA bots are managed. So far, we were discussing about the theoretical thing. Let's look at these numbers. It is 0% error rate and the 60% process time reduction is there. Aren't these figures fantastic ones? Yes, they are. Now let's look at the real life use cases for a robotic process automation. Consider a simple use case where a customer is purchasing an insurance policy. Now he goes to the policy agent. The policy agent would take the policy ID of the customer, and it would help the customer with some of the details like when is the insurance going to get expired, what is the other benefits of their insurance policy. What if the bot is actually doing this job? You can sit and have a cup of coffee at home and you can just request a policy ID to the bot. The bot would perform the auto login into the machine and it would fetch, it would retrieve all the details of the customer's insurance details of the policy. So this is where, robotic process automation plays a vital role. Again, we have got types of bots. We can also have an attended bot and an unattended bot. Attended bots are the ones in which the decisions are being driven by the human users. Unattended ones are the ones in which the human input activity is not required. So even if you think the processes are complex and it requires the human input, certain kind of a smartness of a human end user, then you can certainly develop and go for attended automation. But still, you will be able to do a partial automation in that case as well. Now let's look at similar other use cases. We know there are multiple organizations who are actually involved in the finance and the accounting thing. Almost in every organization, whether they are a mid scale or a small scale or they are working on a large scale, they are paying salary slips, they are paying salaries to their employees every month, and they have to generate salary slips at the end of every month. It becomes a really a repetitive and a cumbersome job. So what we can do is we can actually create a bot who would actually convert all these manual processes into the automation, would create a PDF and would email all the respective employees based on their employee IDs the salary slips at the end of every month, right? Isn't it boosting the productivity of the accounts team or the finance team? Yes, it is. Another use case we can also take from a domain of manufacturing industry. The manufacturing industry always has to make a note of what are all the materials left out in the inventory, what is the billing happening every day in and day out. So over there we can create a bot which would actually fetch all the details of the entire day and would create a consolidated report and hand it over to the inventory manager at the end of the day. Now there are various services that are being offered by RPA. We saw an example in a financial domain. We saw an example in a manufacturing and the insurance domain as well. Similarly, on similar lines, we can also see the picture of the RPA in the human resources as well. Let's say an HR wants to recruit a people in their organization. So they have to screen the resumes or the CVs of number of people every day. We can create a bot who can actually search the resumes on these social media platforms like LinkedIn and can actually create a CSV file of the eligible candidates based on the job description and the experience required. So such consolidated list can be emailed to the respective HRs or recruiters. It would save a lot of time of them. Again, we can also create bots based on the sales and the general ledger or the accounts receivable, accounts payable processes as well. Now let's look at this slide in which we have covered almost most of the functions and the industry where RPA can be adopted. Those are, manufacturing was one of the things that we were discussing, manufacturing, HR. Again, we can cover energy and utility or the telecom bill processing. Again, we can use RPA in the healthcare as well. So overall, we can see RPA can be adopted in almost in every domain and in every field of the industry. And it can not only help you in saving the productivity of your employees, but it would also boost the output of the organization. if it is implemented in a proper and a right direction. Okay, so we are done with the webinar. If any of you have any of the questions, feel free to put up.